What's going on, YouTube, and welcome back to Goal Line Hockey. It's your boy Kevin Forte, and we are taking a look today at some news around the Nashville Predators. It's been a pretty interesting offseason so far in Smashville, Tennessee. They have new ownership. That's the flagship part of this video today, the top storyline. But we also have some other things, some actual news, a contract signing for one of their younger players, trying to make a reclamation project out of one of them. We'll get to that later on. And the latest on Filip Forsberg. Of course, that is a hot topic. Not even, less than a month away from unrestricted free agency and the free agency opening period. Filip Forsberg is still not signed in Nashville, so what does that mean for the future? Yes, we will continue to go over that. So let's start off with the breaking news out of the ownership side of things. The Predators will soon be under new ownership. They're currently valued at $680 million by Sportico. And then obviously a couple hours later from Puck Report NHL, which is, of course, this kind of goes along with it. Former Tennessee Governor Bill Haslam, valued at $2.3 billion by Forbes, is closing in on a deal to buy the Predators. According to Sportico, the club is valued at $680 million, and they are the 26th most valuable franchise in the National Hockey League. So then, obviously, it's announced that he has bought the team and this and that. But there's a little bit more to it. And this is from the Predators public relations, their PR team. Bill Haslam will start off as a minority owner and will become the Predators' majority owner within a few years. The former governor of Tennessee, Bill Haslam, is set to become a minority owner of the Nashville Predators within the next few years. Through a multi-phase purchase transaction, he will become the club's majority owner. His net worth currently stands at $2.3 billion. So Nashville is going to get a new owner. Kind of off the board. Not really something I was expecting to see. I'm sure maybe Predators fans had more of an idea of that, but I did not know that they were in that situation. So kind of interesting to see that, but it will be a multi-year process, so it'll be more of a phased turning over of the tide of the ownership. So that gets us into the on-ice stuff, the stuff you guys came here for, and the news is Cody Glass signed a contract with the Nashville Predators. He signed a one-year contract, $874,000. This is a contract he signed just a few days ago, earlier this week. But the Nashville Predators, this is a guy that was a very prized prospect back in the day. He was the 6th overall selection back in the 2017 NHL draft, and was actually the Vegas Golden Knights' first ever selection in the NHL draft as an expansion team. So Cody Glass just has never really materialized. He hasn't developed into the prospect that people were hoping he could be, a top 6, number 1 potentially center in the National Hockey League. He stands at 6'2", 192 pounds. He's got the NHL frame. Just can he get that game going in the NHL? And the Nashville Predators in a little bit of a retooling situation. There was hope maybe he could jump more into the action of the Predators in their depth. But they've got a really good depth chart. When you look at this team, they have a lot of really good pieces already there. So it would be kind of difficult for him to get some ice time, especially as a center. But it seems like they're giving him another shot here on a one-year contract. They picked him up from the Vegas Golden Knights at the trade deadline and, of course, have re-signed him this offseason. So this is another interesting report here from Adam Vinasian of The Athletic. He suggests the Predators could trade for Jesse Puljujarvi as a quote-unquote reclamation project if they can't come to terms with Filip Forsberg. So this is one of their options in the event that Filip Forsberg will hit the open market. A guy like Jesse Puljujarvi, it does make sense. That seems to be a theme for the Predators here this offseason, right? Cody Glass, sort of a reclamation project in his own right, and now Jesse Puljujarvi, kind of in the same sort of spot, right? He was the third overall or the fourth overall pick by the Oilers a couple of years back as well. So these are guys that are early, highly praised prospects that Nashville is in the mix for to try and add some scoring and a potential replacement here to Filip Forsberg in the event he leaves Smashville. So that's what they're looking at there. We also have some updates on that guy, Filip Forsberg, and this is from Wiley Danuk. John Hines, the head coach of the Predators, is pretty confident that Filip Forsberg will remain with Nashville this offseason. So that was definitely kind of out of the blue. Nobody was really expecting that. But again, is that him just, that's kind of like letter salad? Is he really saying that? Or is that's kind of what he has to say, right? Oh, no, I expect him to hit the open market. I mean, what is he going to say there, right? So kind of a weird thing there, but I figured I'd mention it because when he does resign, then I guess we could go with that, right? So this is from Chris Johnston. The Preds want to re-sign Filip Forsberg. Shocking. But hasn't been much progress towards an extension since talks back in March. So it's been a couple months here that Nashville and Filip Forsberg have been kind of far apart on an extension. I remember all of trade deadline day, everybody was saying, listen, is Nashville a team that can afford to keep Forsberg here past the deadline and not have him signed and then end up leaving in free agency? It's one thing if you're Tampa and you have Forsberg and he goes in free agency because you're winning the Stanley Cup. That wasn't necessarily the mentality for the Nashville Predators going into the playoffs this year, right? They just squeaked into the playoffs and they had to play Colorado, right? So I don't know. I think this is going to be interesting. And then he mentions here they are examining alternative options to replace Forsberg, whether that's a trade or free agency. Again, the mindset of guys like Puljujarvi being in the mix to replace him, which I don't think Preds fans are going to be too thrilled that's their options, but that's what they're looking at. This is also from Frank Saravelli. The Predators and Filip Forsberg remain far apart on money and term on a contract extension. Again, kind of continuing that sentiment that he is really not that close on a new contract with the Preds. It's not necessarily looking too bright in the regards of him returning, but John Hines said it, right? So it must be true that there is still a possibility he comes back, and that is still on the table. I just think with the lack of success of the Predators over the last two years, really, right? The last 2, maybe 3 years, and the fact that he wants to win and he wants to get the money as well, I just think he wants to test the market and see what's out there, and he's earned that right. He's waited this long and this and that. And you know what? I mean, I remember this with the Islanders, with John Tavares. A lot of you guys, you Predators fans, are saying that he's going to re-sign and everything's okay. Listen, I was young, dumb, and naive like that too, thinking Tavares was going to return to the Islanders. I mean, the reality is, if they don't sign past the trade deadline, chances are if they haven't re-signed by that point, they're probably going to hit the open market. There is the 1 of every 10 times that the guy does stay, but 9 times out of 10, he's probably going to hit the open market and he's going to find another team in the NHL to go to. So guys, that's it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you again next time. Go Preds!